Hello everybody and welcome back to another not applicable Formula 1 video. I hope that you're well. I hope you're ready and raring to go for 2022 because recently the 2022 calendar was revealed for the next Formula 1 season consisting of 23 races. And one of the main issues that I and many others have with this is the amount that the calendar just keeps on expanding. It just seems like it's going to get bigger and bigger forever and ever. And that's when me and a few guys over on the Not Applicable Discord, link in the description down below, had the great idea of researching if the FIA, we all know the FIA, if the FIA really wanted to and felt like just absolutely screwing over the drivers and teams as much as they possibly could and decided to fit as many Formula 1 races into the calendar as humanly possible, how many would they be able to fit into the year? And that's when we decided to look into how we could fit in as many possible races into one calendar year of Formula 1. And believe me, it is a lot. So stick around for this video because it is just gonna be absolute chaos. First things first though, we had to decide which tracks were eligible for Formula 1 because believe it or not, Formula 1 can't just happen anywhere on the planet. It has to happen in specific places. All tracks actually given a grading by the FIA, and if they're Formula 1 capable, they have to hit the highest grade, which is a grade 1 listing. And that means that the layout has to be specific, the length, the track widths, the runoffs and protection for the drivers, and also the facilities around the track itself. Now, I'm not going to go into super detail on those because that could be a video in and of itself. But we got our list and we wanted to look at how could we make the biggest Formula 1 season possible. And of course, it starts in Australia. The first race that we're going to have on our calendar is, of course, in Albert Park, where all good Formula 1 seasons should start. And I cannot wait to have Albert Park back on the calendar very, very soon. But we're going to move on promptly and stint through East Asia, through Singapore, Malaysia and Thailand. A triple header, which sounds absolutely amazing, by the way. This would be a stunning triple header on the calendar to sort of round out the East Asian part of Formula 1. We then jump up to Japan, where it starts to get interesting because Japan actually has two circuits which are available. So why not? 2 weekends in Japan. Lovely stuff indeed. Suzuka and Fuji that would stack on top of each other whilst also visiting South Korea and China before jetting down to India and sort of finishing off that East Asian, Northern Asian start of the calendar year. And already we're looking at a lot of races, but it just keeps going from there. So far, so good. 8 countries, 9 races in the Middle East. And then we move on. Wow. 11 eligible circuits across the Middle East to look at. First of all, there's 2 in Dubai. So both of the tracks in Dubai, we've obviously got the Dubai circuit itself can have 2 different orientations, and of course the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So the United Arab Emirates having 3 Grand Prix across 3 weekends. We then jump to Jeddah and Qatar, obviously brand new to the season in 2021. They're keeping their place in our giant calendar. So for races 13 and 14, we're going into some street circuits in Saudi Arabia and then Qatar. We're going the opposite way around to what we've seen in the calendar this year. Now here's where it gets interesting. Bahrain. Bahrain has 5 eligible orientations that we could use. The Bahrain International Circuit has a Grand Prix, an endurance, an inner and outer, and a paddock route that we could use. And we're the FIA. We want that money. We're going to use every single one of those orientations, a 5-week stint in Bahrain. And actually, I think we could try and condense this down a little bit because we haven't got to travel. So maybe we can fit in, 5 Grand Prix in 3 weeks. That would maybe save us a little bit of money and a little bit of time as well, because we're going to have to fit all of these into one calendar year. So definitely a few contingencies and a few different changes we might have to make for these 5 Bahrain Grand Prix. But 5 orientations from one track is absolutely amazing stuff, and 5 races in Bahrain before rounding out the Asian tour with a little bit of Kuwait and Turkey. And Turkey is sort of our turning point as we move towards the European races. Now, all Formula 1 seasons, all good Formula One seasons, of course, have a good old European tour. Now, this European tour puts all other European tours to shame. 28 races in Europe, starting off with Azerbaijan, Sochi, Moscow, Igora, and Finland. 5 races across 3 countries, because Russia has 3 different tracks, which are all Grade 1. We can go there for Formula One. Obviously, there's a 50-50 on whether we'll be going back to Sochi or Moscow in the future. We love Baku, Azerbaijan. That castle section is absolutely beautiful. And of course, Finland has a home Grand Prix for Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Räikkönen, if Kimi Räikkönen wasn't retiring. And it is called the Kimi Ring. Now, it's not spelled like Kimi Räikkönen. I will admit that it's Kymi, but, you know, Finland, do the right thing. Just rename it after Kimi Räikkönen, because it's already called the Kimi Ring. You just got to change that Y for an I, and it would be absolutely wonderful. We then move on to Hungary and Austria. Obviously need to go back to the home of Red Bull and the Hungaroring. The Hungaroring, which this year put together a wonderful Grand Prix, so I'm sure that will continue on in the future. And Red Bull, of course, want to stop by their big Red Bull in Austria. Now, talking about homecomings, you thought Red Bull would be happy to go to Austria. Ferrari are going to be more than happy. There are 4 eligible circuits in Italy. We're going to go to Imola, Mugello, Fiorano, and Monza. I'm going to absolutely butcher some words as we go through this, but Ferrari have 4 home races in Italy, and the Tifosi, the tour through Italy, would be phenomenal. Imagine getting tickets to all 4 of those Grand Prix and going on a big European Italian tour with the Tifosi over 4 weeks, an entire month of Italian driving to just memorize and have forever. That I think this should personally just happen, even though it'd be absolutely insane to have 4 Grand Prix in Italy. I think it would be well worth it. So FIA, if you want to sort this out, please do, and please get me a ticket to all 4 of those. We then head up a little bit into Northern Europe. We've got Germany, Belgium, and of course the home Grand Prix of Max Verstappen in the Netherlands. Germany has 2 tracks which are eligible, obviously Hockenheim and the Nürburgring, which sort of do 50-50 races in Formula One already. Then we've got Spa and Zandvoort as well, rounding out this European tour with a little bit of a look at Silverstone on the way there. We're getting towards the end of the European tour, and we're getting towards those classic Silverstone and of course France and Monaco. No season would be a Formula One season without a stop in Monaco, would it? It just makes Formula One Monaco, and as much as I think, you know, maybe it's one of those tracks that doesn't really deserve to be on the calendar anymore, it is just a spectacle rather than a race, but it's well worth going still, and we've put it on the calendar. Now, you thought 5 races in Bahrain was a lot. Let me introduce you to Spain, which has 7 different eligible tracks that we are going to go to. That's right, a 7-week stint in Spain. 7 weeks in Spain for 7 different Grand Prix. We start off at Montelamo, and then it's Alcaçanz, which I'm going to butcher again, the Mortalan Aragon, that has 4 eligible orientations, which really bumps Spain up here. It has a Grand Prix, an Aerotest, an FIM, and a long style track round there in Spain. And of course, we go to Valencia, we go to Barcelona, and we go to Jerez de la Ferrotina, which I'm going to go for as my pronunciation. But Spain really does put a spanner in the works with 7 different races possible. And, you know, a little bit of a shorter stay in Portugal with just the 2 races in Portimao and Estoril. And I forgot Estoril used to be a Formula One track and used to be like really big on the calendar, but has kind of been, you know, replaced with Portimao in recent years, hasn't it? So we finish off that sort of European tour. As I said, 28 races in Europe. Wow. And we finish off the season in the Americas. We move over to Canada, the USA, and Mexico for our North American stint of Formula One. We've got Montreal, obviously Indy, Austin, and the new Miami Grand Prix in the USA, and Mexico City as well for a home Grand Prix for Sergio Perez. And finally, I know it's going to be a very long video. Finally, we round out the season with our final race, our 55th race across 47 different locations and 32 different countries in Brazil. Every single good season ends up in Sao Paulo, doesn't it? And this season is one to end in Sao Paulo as well. So that is 55 races, and you thought 23 was bad for a calendar year. 55 races. Of course, we've got Qatar, where we could squish it down in sort of 2 or 3 weeks, and Spain as well, where we've got 7 races, possibly need to squish that down into a few weeks as well. And we sort of set ourselves the goal of trying to fit this in logistically. I'm not going to go through all the logistics because I feel like this video will be very, very, very long. But I am going to leave links in the description down below to all of the work that has been put in behind the scenes. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. But most specifically, I want to thank Adi Duby on the Discord. He's also always in the comments down below in the channel as well. If you see him about, give him a like, give him a comment saying thank you so much for putting together all of the research for this video. As I said, I'm going to put down the calendar that he made and all of the research that he did in the description down below as well, because I'm going to be honest, this video would not have been capable without him. The logistics, the locations, and where they could be in a 2022 mock calendar will all be in the description down below. And man, what an absolute legend putting this all together. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe. We're trying to get to 6,000 subscribers out of absolutely nowhere. We smashed through 5,000, so 6,000 is our next goal now. And of course, if you want to get involved in making videos like this one, join the Discord. It is linked in the description down below. We always have a chat about content, Formula One, and what's going on in the world around us. Thank you so much again, and I will see you next time.